In the headlines, 1 dead, over 20 injured as man sets mosque on fire in Kano. Reactions trail the suspension of the cybersecurity levy. Nigeria's inflation rate soars to 33.69%. Ousted Gabonese President Ali Bongo goes on a hunger strike over son's alleged torture. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Kano, where one person has reportedly died, according to the police, and many others have been hospitalized following an attack by an assailant at a mosque in Laraba, Abasawa area of Gezawa local council area of Kano State. A warning: some viewers may find the images in Idris Jibrin's report distressing.
Very close. It's tragic in Larabar Abasawa village of Gezawa local government area of Kano State as body part littered the ground outside a burnt local mosque. According to the community members, the man used petrol to ignite the fire and locked the mosque from outside with about 40 people praying inside. We don't know what is happening, but this is the third time he is attacking people here. He had once hit 2 of his elder brothers and took himself to police station, claiming that he had killed them. According to family members, one Shafiu Aminu of Gidan Nguru is believed to have orchestrated the plot to set the mosque ablaze, following years of misunderstanding with his family members over inheritance. It took time for people outside to get wary of the incident and immediately went to the rescue of the victims who were struggling to break out. Inside Murtala Muhammad Specialist Hospital, the victims who are critically injured, some of them beyond recognition, are now receiving treatment. Police confirmed the death of one person.
But from the interim investigations we have conducted so far, we got to know that it's not, and it has nothing to do with terrorism. It's never a terrorism case. This is what we want the public to know. It is just a minor family skirmish which arose from the distribution of an inheritance. The person that detonated the bomb is said to be an aggrieved person that the sharing of the inheritance was not to his satisfaction, which is quite unfortunate.
While these people continue to receive treatment, the police are also assuring members of the public that the incident has nothing to do with terrorism, rather a family dispute relating to inheritance. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Let's stay with developments in Kano, where mobile phone users who use commercial charging points now have to pay a lot more than they used to for charging their mobile phones due to a surge in the cost of energy by business operators. Now, Abba Adamu reports that before now, mobile phone owners usually pay as low as 30 naira per charge due to the cost of energy. His report.
The absence of stable power supply has created business opportunity for people like Ali Umar, who runs mobile phone charging service and makes profit from it. Phone users cannot afford to allow their phones become dead for a long period without being unreachable, and therefore find solace in those who run phone charging businesses at an affordable rate. However, that is all charging now, as they are now asked to pay 100 naira for the services from the usual 30 naira. Ali Umar attributed the increase to high cost of fuel with which they power their generators. We were charging for 30 and later 15 naira. When we were buying half a gallon of fuel at 1,200 naira. But now, we collect between 80 and 100 naira because of fuel. He wants government to intervene and fix prices of consumer goods to address rising inflation. He said business owners are helplessly losing capital to inflation and price instability. A point of sales operator who combined the business with mobile phone charging, Yunusa Ibrahim, said most of his customers are unable to pay for the service following the increase. The rate started from 30 naira to 50 and then 70, then now 100 naira. But most of my customers to pay for the service rendered. The leadership is to blame for our woes, and the only thing we can do is to pray. For Aliyu Yau, though the business is declining, unlike before, he still charges 50 naira for his businesses because he is not using a generator. We are using solar here because we are also selling soft drinks here. We can afford the rising cost of fuel, so we can't afford the rising cost of fuel, so we opted for the solar system. A mobile phone user, Abubakar Lawan, said he is relying on public supply of electricity to charge his phone because he is owing some of them money. I do not have money to pay for the service now. In fact, I am owing some of them for charging my phone. For now, mobile users in Kano will continue to pay 100 naira for this service. Salim Umar Ibrahim, reporting for Trust TV.
To some of the day's other news now, reactions have trailed the announcement of the suspension of the contentious 0.5% cyber security levy on electronic banking transactions by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the hugely unpopular policy had sparked a public outcry since its announcement of the implementation by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Experts and residents alike have spoken on the perceived policy flip-flops on Nigeria's economic reforms under the Tinubu administration. Commendation as well as criticisms have trailed the suspension of the cybersecurity levy as Nigerians bear their minds on the current state of affairs. While some have applauded the administration for being responsive, others say the back and forth on government policies is a sign of uncertainty and a lack of conviction that Nigeria needs to bring about sustainable growth and development. Elsewhere, on Monday, terrorists carried out a kidnapping spree, abducting at least 80 persons in Erumalamai village located in Faskari local government area of Katsina State. Now, this horrifying incident occurred barely 24 hours after the attackers had fatally shot some soldiers during an ambush in the area. According to a resident of the area, the attackers returned to the village on Monday when they engaged in a brutal operation lasting approximately 10 hours. During this time, they allegedly abducted more than 80 individuals, but also plundered shops, setting ablaze houses and destroying vehicles. The bandits attacked the community yet again, looting shops, burning houses, and abducting many residents just hours after the soldiers had left, according to eyewitnesses. A political office holder in the area had confirmed the incident to newsmen, while further stating that the persistent attacks have compelled residents to abandon their town in fear for their lives. Still talking security in Borno State, the police has arrested over 40 suspects over alleged involvement in phone snatching, theft, and illegal drug peddling. The command says the suspects were arrested by its new squad aiming to flush out crime and criminality in Borno State. During the operation, it recovered exhibits from suspects such as tricycles, phones, cash, knives, and illegal drugs. The State Police Public Relations Officer Nahum Kenneth Daso at a press briefing revealed that 22 suspects who were apprehended for possession of drugs and illegal substances, with 14 involved in phone snatching and tricycle thefts, while others were arrested for burgling a store. DASSO called on the public to report suspicious activities to the police within their domain, while adding that the command has vowed to ensure that unrepentant criminals in Borno State are severely dealt with.
On the 12th of May 2024, at about 1700 hours, following a credible tip-off, one Babagana M of Ngalnam area, Maiduguri, was arrested in possession of 2 rams and 2 sheep, all valued 200,000 naira. Upon investigation, the suspect confessed to have stolen the animals, and in regards to the military uniform, the case is still watery. So once we get further brief about it, we are going to come up and discuss about it probably in our next press briefing.
Now, a Christian group in Kaduna State under the umbrella of the Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria on Tuesday staged a protest demanding for the release of Leah Sharibu and other abducted school children still in the custody of terrorists in northern Nigeria. During the protests held in Kaduna State to celebrate the 21st birthday of Leah Sharibu, the group criticized the alleged government's inability to rescue the lone Chibok schoolgirl 7 years after she was kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists in Yobe State. The convener of the group, Reverend Yunusa Madu, says the protest was to first commemorate the 21st birthday of Leah Sharibu and to also draw the government's attention to the plight of the girl in captivity, as well as others who share the same faith. He also called on the Nigerian government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure the release of Leah Sharibu and other abducted schoolgirls still languishing in terrorist dens across the northern part of the country. On his part, the Secretary of the Kaduna State Chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Emmanuel Okunlola, appealed to the government to protect the country and its citizens. Leah Sharibu and over 100 other female students of Government Science and Technical College, Dapchi, were abducted by Boko Haram terrorists back in 2018. While the rest of the abducted girls have been released from captivity, Leah Sharibu is still in custody of her abductors 7 years after she was kidnapped by the terrorist. Now, Joseph Ru, the lawyer representing 6 Cameroonian professors teaching in Nigerian universities, along with 4 others, asserted on Tuesday that his clients were unlawfully imprisoned by Cameroonian authorities. These individuals had lodged a petition with the House of Representatives seeking assistance for their release after allegedly being abducted from Nigeria and subsequently detained in Cameroon since January of 2018. The petitioners, who claimed lawful residence in Nigeria, are all of Cameroonian nationality, except for those who were refugees or asylum seekers. Addressing journalists in Abuja regarding the update of the petition submitted to the House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions, the petitioner's lawyer further explains that despite 2 separate judgments in Nigeria ruling in their favor, the abducted professors remain incarcerated at the Kondengi Security Detention Facility in Cameroon.
When somebody arbitrarily, and when we say arbitrarily, we mean without any legal cause, is picked up and then held for as long as they were held in Nigeria before being sent to Cameroon, that is called an abduction. An abduction does not end when we know where they are. An abduction, that illegal act continues and abides with them until that illegality is cured. And to this point, that illegality has not been cured, and that is why they are still languishing in prison. The second thing is that these petitioners were not repatriated. They were not deported. Because you repatriate somebody when you go through a legal process and you exhaust all the legal processes, and then a court decides that they have to go back to where they came from to answer in that jurisdiction. That is called a repatriation. And in fact, before you repatriate somebody, especially between countries, there has to be a bilateral treaty or a treaty that is observed. There's none of that in this case.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we tell you the story of 16-year-old Wizkid, who is one of the outstanding performers in JAMB examination this year. More on her story and many others up ahead. Welcome back to the news update. Thank you very much for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. 1 dead, over 20 injured as man sets mosque on fire in Kano. Experts, residents weigh in following the president's suspension of the cyber security levy. Now, since the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, released results for the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination results, celebrations have erupted across the nation, celebrating outstanding student performances. Now, in Gombe State, this trend continues, with many celebrating the exceptional achievement as well as performance of a 16-year-old who scored 348 points, emerging as the top performer in the state. Hassan Koli tells us her story.
This is Kausar Shehu Toro, a 60-year-old secondary school student who scored 348 in the 2024 JAMB examination, emerging the top scorer in Gombe State. Kausar said although her parent contributed to her success, a conducive learning environment by her school and her passion to become a medical doctor were her best motivations.
My motivation to study was the efforts that my parents put into ensuring that I have a good sound education, and their dream for me to become a medical doctor. Graduated from a medical doctor from ABU. I knew that ABU, I had a rumor that ABU extended their cutoff mark to 300, so I knew that I had to study hard to get that mark. Things I applied is having a conducive study environment, looking for a time when you know that you understand the best. You have to know your study pattern. You have to create a timetable, a flexible timetable that you can change and still achieve what you want.
Kausar was excited to have such an excellent result and believes that the totality of her effort is yet to manifest as she looks forward to a great academic journey ahead. She is optimistic that with a conducive learning environment, students like her will continue to shine.
Don't feel like you know it all. No matter how much you feel like you know it all, there's still something you don't know. So always crave for knowledge. And also help others and get help from others. No matter how good you are, you still need help.
As a token of encouragement, Kausar has been gifted a laptop computer while her picture was pasted at the entrance of her school. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Quite impressive. Now, to some of the day's other news. Despite the Naira making considerable gains in April, the prices of goods and services have escalated during the same period under review. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the headline inflation in the country increased to 33.69% in the month of April compared to the month of March 2024. Headline inflation rate of 33.20%. Now, this indicates a 0.49% points increase in inflation from March to April. The report highlighted that the food inflation rate in April of 2024 stood at 40.53% on a year-on-year basis, marking a significant rise compared to the 24.61% recorded in April 2023. The surge in food inflation on a year-on-year basis was attributed to increases in the price of essential commodities such as millet flour, gari, bread, wheat flour, semovita, among many others. Let's take a look at international developments now, and we'll begin in Gabon, where former President Ali Bongo and his two youngest sons, Jalil and Bilal, have started a hunger strike to protest their, quote, sequestration and alleged acts of torture against family members. Now, their lawyers, who announced this on May 14, also stated that a lawsuit has been filed in the Paris Judicial Court. Now, lawyers Francois Zemere and Catalina de la Sota, beg your pardon, aims to have a French judge investigate the allegations, especially as Gabon's leader since the August 2023 coup, General Brice Oligui Nguema, plans to visit Paris soon. An early complaint by Ali Bongo's wife, Sylvia Bongo, filed on September 1st, 2 days after the coup, was dismissed in October last year. The new complaint alleges illegal arrest, aggravated sequestration with torture, and barbaric acts against Ali, Sylvia, and their sons Nuruddin, Jalil, and Bilal, while noting that the first four are French nationals. Now, the lawyer claims Nuruddin has been tortured multiple times, while Sylvia was beaten and forced to witness these acts. And they also added that Ali, Jalil, and Bilal, who are under house arrest and deprived of communication, have also been tortured. Talking sports now, following his outstanding performance for Udinese this season, goalkeeper Maduka Okoye is set to return to the Super Eagles for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The youngster decided to drop out of the team before the 2023 African Cup of Nations to face his club career. Now, his decision seems to have paid off, as he has emerged as a first-choice goalkeeper for the Italian side in their campaign. The Nigerian goalkeeper made the headlines after single-handedly earning Udinese a win against champions Juventus. Now, according to a hint from the national team camp, Okoye is among the top goalkeepers for consideration for new head coach Finidi George, who has invited them ahead of the encounters with Bafana Bafana of South Africa and Benin Republic. Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. Feel free to follow us across our social media platforms to keep up with some of our contents. Also visit our website trusttv.com for the latest news and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time.